Alam niyo ba, ang daming videos nagsasabi na diversification is useless. Or sinasabi lang na it's for people who don't know what they're doing.
Hi everyone! Welcome to our mini-series, Retirement Mistakes That We All Make. Today is part 1 and it's all about not diversifying your investments. Meron pa nga nagsasabi na diversification is for what?
Sinasabi mga idiots daw.
Sabi nga ni Warren Buffett, diversification is protection for ignorance. Parang ang dali nilang sabihin, no? Pero because they don't talk about kung ano yung talaga nangyayari sa mga couples, yung mga regular couples like us. Kasi yung mga nag-i-invest, ang daling sabihin na, oh, let's go all in. Diba? It's easy kasi for them to say na, oh, mag-all in ka. Lalo na if you're young, you're single, or merong malaking tolerance sa risk, or you're probably well-versed sa finance or investing. But for people in their 40s, 50s, 60s who are married, may pamilya, may mga mortgage, and preparing for retirement, it's a totally different story.
And that's the reason why we wanted to talk about it. Hindi para makipag-debate, but to give context.
So today, let's talk about it. Kung tutungang BS ang diversification, or it's still smart for couples like us to do it.
We're not financial advisors, ha? Disclaimer lang yan. But we're here to discuss about what we know about retirement.
Kung ano yung
what worked out for
namin.
us, or what worked for us.
Yeah. Lahat ng tips namin is based on what we've learned and what we've gone through. And syempre, bilang mag-asawa, iba yung approach namin eh. Kasi like we consider ourselves like a team, di ba? So lahat ng decisions namin is based on what we agree upon. Walang solo-solo moves dito, lalo na kung malaking pera yung pinag-uusapan. Or if it's for long-term mga decisions, di ba? Kasi affected, ang hindi lang isang tao, affected dalawang tao kayo. Kaya kahit na maliliit na adjustments, pinag-uusapan yon.
Every detail yan, kailangan.
Yung mga financial gurus online, minsan mga bata yan, mga single, so ibang priorities. So for them maybe, okay sa kanila yung to take yung higher risk. Kasi nga wala silang mga dependents or they have decades to recover if something happens sa mga investments nila.
Unlike us,
short time na lang tayo. Yung mga nasa age ng mga 50s, ng mga 60s, ready to retire. Kasi nga we have responsibilities, yung retirement timeline, yung family mo, yung health and peace of mind also, di ba? So what works for these people might not work for couples like us.
Right. Or those people who are nearing retirement.
So kaya kami, pag tinitingnan namin yung mga investments, hindi namin tinitingnan yung ano ba ang kikitain, di ba? Pero ang tinitingnan natin ngayon is, safe ba to para sa pamilya? Na is it balanced? Na hindi ka mawawalan ng pera?
Yeah. Kumbaga parang may security blanket ka.
Parang safety net.
Safety net, yeah. So bakit sinasabi nila diversification is useless? Agree ba kayo or disagree? Why don't you guys comment below?
Actually, may truth naman sa mga sinasabi nila eh. Parang sinasabi nila, if you are concentrated on certain stocks or certain investments, mas mataas ang returns mo. Diba? Example na lang ha, imagine if you bought Tesla, Amazon, or Nvidia early on, nung bago-bago pa lang yung stocks nila. Kung nag-all-in ka doon or malaki yung in-invest mo doon, can you imagine how much money you would have made today?
I know.
Diba? Yun yung sinasabi rin nila na sometimes diversification is useless. Grabe yung growth talaga nun eh. Nila yung companies na yon. And if kung concentrated ka, hindi ka nag-diversify, jackpot ka. Alam nyo, bumili ako noon ng bumili ako ng stocks na, share lang namin. Bumili ako ng stocks ng Nvidia, 2022. Konti lang talaga yung binili ko, talagang tinry ko lang bumili. Tapos, I bought it like at $26.50. So, can you imagine kung nag-all-in tayo
Oh my
nun?
gosh.
Diba? Bumili ka na 1,000 shares. Magkano na ngayon? Siguro kumita tayo ng siguro 160,000. Sabihin natin ganun. So yun yung good effect nun kung concentrated ka. So kami ni Haven, since we're like really, really close to retirement, hindi namin ni-risk yung pera namin for that one.
We stayed like, conservative.
Conservative,
Yeah.
oo. Pero tinry lang namin. Pero ang sarap isipin, no? If ganun yun naman eh. Pag nag-invest ka, if I invested here, I would have made this one. Oo, no? Sayang. Pero itong tanong ha, would you go all in if somebody told you that your money would double? Comment in the section below. Pero yung mga ganito, yung mga talagang ang laki ng mga kita, di ba? Siyempre, they talk about yung returns mo, yung mga tenfolds. Pero sometimes they don't even talk about anong mangyayari kung baligtad naman. What if like bumagsak yung ano na yon, yung stocks na yon. So, wala rin yung investment mo. And tayo naman at this age, hindi pwede yung bigla na lang tayo mawa-wipe out yung pinaghirapan natin.
Oh, imagine how much investment we put in, no?
Oo.
Biglang mawa-wipe out yun.
Ito, kunyari yung age natin ngayon, 60, you cannot wait for 10 more years na
To recover
yung market kung bumagsak siya. And that's why diversification is very important for couples like us or whoever's like nearing retirement to protect whatever we've built in the last 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
Di ba ang comment nila, sabi nila, diversification is for those who don't know anything or it's a form of protection for ignorance, di ba? Pero hindi naman because we're scared, but it's more of being practical.
So let's be honest ha, di ba nung bata pa tayo, may attitude tayo na parang very aggressive tayo, di ba? Yung kaya natin mentality.
Pero when you're nearing retirement, iba na yon. Kasi you're not building from zero anymore eh.
Yeah.
Kasi you're protecting whatever you've spent building all these years.
Yeah.
Diba? Di ba sabi mo nga pag nasa 30s na pwede pang maging aggressive kasi nga if there's a downturn,
you can still recover.
Oo. And I remember noong 2008, so that was like mga 17 years ago.
Yeah.
17 years ago, remember na nag-crash yung market? Noong time na yun, hindi naman tayo nagpanic eh. Parang okay lang kasi that was like what? Ilang taon tayo nun? Ako nasa early 40s, ikaw?
40, mid-40s.
Mid-40s. So, hindi pa kami masyadong takot nun kasi you still have like time to recover.
Right.
Pero, nung dumating yung 2020 crash, nung COVID time, that's when we panic.
Oo. Nako.
Kasi we cannot afford na yung portfolio namin to go down like that big. Mga 30%.
Especially at a time like that.
Oo. Diba? Na hindi mo alam kung anong mangyayari.
Anong mangyayari.
Pero at that time, diversified na kami ni Haven. Hindi kami talagang all in sa mga growth stocks or yung mga tech. Usually, tech ang unang bumabagsak eh. So, meron kami pero hindi naman ganun kalaki. And kung bumaba rin yung portfolio namin ng, I think like mga 30%. Pero can you imagine if we were all in sa mga tech?
Patay.
50%? Yun yung mga na we cannot afford to lose anymore at this point of our lives.
Right. That's why every mistake hurts when you get older. Yan sinasabi nga nila, di ba?
Oo. O sige, let's define ano ba talaga ibig sabihin ng diversification?
It's simply saying, or basically saying, that don't put your eggs in one basket. Yan ang sinasabi.
Lahat ata ng tao alam na yung yung linya na yan eh. So I have this kwento na talaga it's a perfect example ng don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yeah. So itong company na pinagtrabahuhan ko before, it's a big company, di ba?
Yeah.
And ang production namin sa China, ang isang factory na ginagamit namin, siguro mga 90% ng production namin, yung factory lang na yon. And then another 10% was like yung mga other small factories. So yung may-ari ng factory at saka yung may-ari ng company namin, they were like good friends. Pero one day, nag-away sila, and then all of a sudden, itong si factory, hindi na daw magde-deliver sa amin. So parang gano'n, no? Isang iglap,
That's it.
that's it.
We're done.
Nawala. We're done. And after that, after I think 1 or 2 months,
Fold up.
folded up. Because of that, na hindi niya distribute
Yeah.
yung production niya. And ilang beses namin sinasabi doon sa may-ari na yon. Yung parati niya sinasabi na, oh, you know what, the credit terms is good and
Yun.
tayo lang ang laman ng factory na yon. We can ask them to do whatever we want to. Yun.
Kumbaga, nag-backfire.
Nag-backfire. So yun, it's just like a good example na don't put all your eggs in one basket. And also diversification doesn't mean na kailangan madami, di ba? Siguro meron kang at least mga 3 or 4 main ones. Meron kang for growth, ito yung mga stocks mo. And then meron kang for stability, ito yung mga bonds or yung mga other assets.
Or cash. Yung mga short-term needs, di ba?
Oo, yun, for emergencies, di ba?
Emergencies, yun.
Oo. Kasi this time, you're not trying to win big anymore. You're just trying not to lose big. So pag-usapan naman natin yung scenario ng mga mag-asawa. Sa amin kasi ni Haven, ako yung mas aggressive eh.
Yeah.
Ikaw, mas more conservative.
Kasi iniisip ko na kailangan ba natin gawin ngayon, yung ganon.
Oo.
Mag-invest tayo ngayon.
Oh, ako kasi gusto pag minsan sabi ko kay Haven, invest tayo dito.
Yeah.
Oh, maglagay tayo ng pera doon. Si Haven, sasabihin niyan, hindi, tingnan muna natin yan. Talagang siya, very cautious yon.
At saka, iniisip ko na ano yung worst case scenario may mangyari. No?
And we had moments talaga na nagka-clash kami. Kasi minsan talagang sasabihin ko sa kanya na, oh, invest tayo dyan. Sure ball yan kung kita tayo dyan. Pero may times din talaga na may palpak din talaga kami na nag-invest na it didn't work. Example ito yung stocks ng Lucid.
Yeah.
Kung hindi nyo alam kung ano yung Lucid, Lucid is it's a car manufacturer na para siyang
Electric.
Tesla. It's an EV.
EV.
And at that time, talagang very promising siya. Bigla na lang bumagsak.
But you never know. In the future, baka biglang mag-pick up yan.
Oo. So, na-realize din namin ni Haven na risk is not just yours, di ba?
Yeah. It's ours. That's what it is.
Kaya sabi namin, ang investing, hindi pwedeng ego-based. Hindi pwedeng ako lang or ikaw lang.
Yun nga. That's why diversification isn't just a financial strategy.
Oo, it's considered also relationship tool.
Yes.
Kasi it's not just about higher returns, but less anxiety,
And fewer money fights.
at mas may confidence tayo sa future.
So even something goes wrong, we'll be okay.
And that reassurance is relationship security. Kaya naman yung sinasabi nilang diversification is useless, hindi yun applicable sa atin. Kasi for us, stability matters. Ayaw natin na ma-stress, gusto natin predictable, gusto natin na yung retirement natin is intact.
Yeah.
Yung ating mga investments. So, hindi namin sinasabi na diversification is perfect kasi walang strategy na perfect.
But it works for families who value safety, predictability, at saka mga long-term balance.
So, don't just copy what's out there. Know your situation, your age, kung ano ka na ngayon. Kung malapit ka na mag-retire or medyo malayo pa. And also, you have to know kung ano yung mga goals nyo.
And remember hindi ka idiot for being diversified, but you're just being smart for your future.
So this is part 1 of our retirement mistake series. Next episode naman, we'll be talking about failing to pay off your debts before retirement. And nako meron kaming personal story na share namin dyan. So don't miss it. So,
Thank you for watching.
Like and subscribe and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye!